y'all, it's Sophie, and today I figured I'd show y'all a quick makeup tutorial that could either be used, if you're on the run, if you're in school, you don't have time to get ready in the morning, or just if you're a beginner to makeup and maybe a full glam tutorial isn't what you're looking for. This will be perfect for you. So this is just going to be a pretty quick, it usually takes me 10 to 15 minutes to get done, and I usually do this if I wake up late, if I don't have time to go to class, but I still want to look good. This is my go-to, so I hope y'all enjoy it. Yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing I typically do is either use a moisturizer or a primer. Now, of course, this is totally up to you. If you really don't have time, totally unnecessary. But I always like to go in with a primer just because it's what I'm used to. And I recommend keeping what you put on your skin pretty consistent so that your skin doesn't freak out, because sometimes that can happen. So I just rub a nice primer, and now because this is not a full coverage glam look, I'm just using a hydrating primer. I like this one. It's the Master Prime by Maybelline. I was sent this to test out by influencers. If you're looking for free product testing, by the way, that's a pretty good one. So I use this as kind of a primer. Now, I will say I don't think primer is the most important thing. I think a lot of times they actually don't do much. So I kind of recommend using a moisturizer if you don't want to buy a primer, just FYI. So now, if you're looking for something a little bit lighter, I kind of recommend using a BB cream tinted moisturizer, but all this is preference. For me, I always like full coverage, so I'm going to use my normal Estee Lauder Double Wear that I always use. But if you want something that's a little bit lighter, a little bit more affordable, I like the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. They also have a dewy and smooth one that's very good. It's lighter coverage. So for today, I'm just going to use my normal Estee Lauder Double Wear just because, like I said, I like to keep my skin pretty consistent. I really don't like to mess it up too much just because I don't want my skin to freak out. So because I'm doing this like we're in a rush, when I'm in a rush, I use my hands. This is totally acceptable if your hands are clean. Do not do this if your hands are not washed. I recommend washing them maybe in your face wash before you do this. But I actually used to apply my foundation with my hands all the time when I first started doing makeup because it kind of melts the makeup into your skin and it gives it a much lighter coverage, but it still will smooth out your skin just like you want it to, and it's very quick. I mean, you don't need brushes, you don't need nothing. It is done just so fast, just like that. And like I said, because this is a lighter coverage look, and then what we're going to do is just go in anywhere that you need more coverage and maybe apply a little bit more foundation. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that we have our foundation on, the next thing I always do is concealer. Now, if you have perfect skin, if you don't have imperfections, skip this step. But for me, I always have just a couple little spots I want to conceal. And this is a good trick if you're using a BB cream or something with a little less coverage. You can really just put that on lightly and then just go over with my concealer. And when I was younger, or if I really didn't have time, I'm just buffing this in with my Morphe brush. Don't have the number because I rubbed it off, but the one I always use. You can literally just moisturize your face and go in with concealer and then powder it, and that's really all you need. I just prefer to use a foundation, but this is all to be tailored to what you like. This is just meant to be a beginner's, easy, in a rush kind of look, for when you're on the go, for when you don't have time. So I have that buffed in. Now the next step, I really think everyone should do, that concealer isn't necessary if you don't need it, but I do think under eye concealer I will always do that. I have pretty bad dark circles. Now, if you are someone that doesn't have them, first of all, I'm jealous, but of course, like I said, all this is tailored to what you really need. Now, I'm using my Instant Age Rewind. I always use this one by Maybelline. You can see that. But what's important is that this is in the shade Neutralizer. And I've loved this for years. So just put that on both sides. And now I'm just going to take a dampened beauty blender, and this is really great when you're in a rush to dampen your beauty blender. It helps you be able to blend it in really quickly. So I recommend blending back and forth. Look up so you don't have a lot of creases and go back and forth. And this is really quick, but it makes a world of a difference in the way your under eye look. It just really brightens the area. And it just works like a charm. So I'm just going to blend that in. So now once you have your concealer blended in, if you don't have time for baking and all that, you know, you're on the run or you're just starting out with makeup, you don't even know what that is, I recommend using a light pressed powder. Usually a banana shade is what you want because it brightens your under eye. This is a new one from Essence called Brighten Up, and it's very, very cheap. I want to say like $3.99, and it works very well. It doesn't have that flashback. So just dip your beauty blender in, and I like to use a damp one still because I think it actually helps to kind of melt the powder into your skin. So just press it, and now this will be light, and we will kind of dust this off like we would if we were baking, but this is just a little bit easier. Of course, it's cheaper, and it really there's no mess with the translucent powder, which sometimes that can happen. So just put this under your eye. I know it looks crazy, but we will dust this off, and it just really helps to set that concealer because concealer can be tough. You know, it can crease up on you. So this really helps not let it crease. And again, go back and forth because you don't want to set creases, basically. So now what I like to do next is just a little light bronzer. And now y'all know I usually use the Hoola. But I figured since this is an easy, fast makeup tutorial, I might as well make it more affordable, just because I figured if you are a beginner in makeup, you probably don't want to be spending all this money on expensive makeup. So this is the bronzer I like to use when I'm kind of in a rush. Now, I had said I didn't like this originally, and I still think the Hoola is better, but this is still good. It's just a little bit lighter, it's a little bit fresher, it smells like coconuts, which is nice, and it's cheaper. So I'm going to be using that, but before I do, I like to just take a nice powder brush and set my foundation, which I always do. And again, I always use the pressed powder from Rimmel, which is my favorite. It's the Stay Matte. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to be putting on my bronzer. And the reason, and of course, just the normal areas, you know, the free motion right up here, right in here, and underneath the chin. So I'm going to be doing that. What I like to do now that I'm here with the same bronzer, and this is a nice trick anytime you're in a rush, is take whatever bronzer you're using, just take a nice little eyeshadow brush, take a little bit, and just go right in the crease. And this doesn't do anything other than give your eye a little bit of definition and a natural contour because it will blend in with the rest of your skin because it's the same color you're using on the rest of your face, and it just gives you a little more definition, and it takes just 30 seconds, and it really makes a nice difference. It makes it look like, you know, you tried a little bit, and you know, that natural beauty kind of look. Now the next thing I'll do after I've done all this is I will just wipe off that powder we threw on under the eye. And again, that was just to brighten it a little bit, just to set the under eye. And just kind of blend that in with the rest of the face. Now, if you feel like you need a little more bronzer where you wipe that off, you know, just take the leftover left on your brush. And this is really just about being quick, being resourceful, whatever you have, whatever you've got. So the next thing I'll do is blush. And again, personal preference. Some people don't love blush. I love blush. I think it makes everything look pretty. It brings a little life back to your face. Now, this particular blush is a little bit more expensive. It's the Frat Boy by the BALM Cosmetics. But I can recommend a ton from the drugstore. The Milani blushes are beautiful. They're very inexpensive. Essence makes a couple the same brand that we use the powder from. They make a couple blushes that are very, very cheap. I think they're good, but they kind of tend to fade throughout the day. You know, Maybelline makes great blushes. There's tons of blushes at the drugstore. Do not feel you have to buy this one if you don't want to. This is just my favorite, and it's the one I have with me right now. So I just like to start on the apples of the cheeks and pull it back and just do little circular motions really quickly just to bring some color to your face. The last step I'll do for the face, if I have time, I don't always do this, but I think it's just beautiful. This is the Wet n Wild MegaGlo highlighting powder in Precious Petals. I think I've talked about this before. It's really my favorite highlighter. I have so many high-end highlighters, and this one is really the best. It's just beautiful. It's very inexpensive, $5 or less. And I'm just taking this mermaid brush and just putting a little on my cheeks, and it just gives you a nice natural glow. This is nothing too blinding, but I do think a glow makes any easy makeup look just a little bit more fun, makes your skin a little bit more alive. And then I like to take a little bit and put it right in my inner corner, right underneath my eyebrow. And this makes it look like you did a whole eyeliner look, and if you want, you can dot a little bit in the center of your eye, and it looks like you did a whole eyeshadow look, and really, you didn't even use any eyeshadow. So now, the last step that I do is I always take mascara. Now, for me, when I'm really time-saving, mascara is the thing that I have to figure out how to make it quick, because for me, I have to curl my lashes. They go straight down, if you can see that. I like to use waterproof. I like to layer them. It takes me a long time. So when I'm in a rush, I don't like to curl them. I don't want to bother with any of that. I just want to throw on some mascara so I don't look so dead and run out the door. And it's taken me a while to find a mascara that I like on its own without having to curl my lashes and all that. Of course, mine will never fully curl. Yours might. That's just how mine look naturally. But the best one I've really found, and this is not waterproof, this is not expensive, is the Essence, which, like I said, is a very, very inexpensive brand. The Essence Lash Princess. And this is a great mascara. I recently tested this out. I was trying to find some new cheap things at the drugstore that work well. And this really works fantastically. And I'm so excited about it because it's under $5. So I don't have any eyeliner, I don't need it for this look, and I'm just gonna go in and just coat my lashes. And now when I'm not curling mine, I like to fan them out a little bit to the side, just because I think it gives it, you know, at least some dimension. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be right back. And there you go. That is all I do when I just want to run out the door. Like I said, this usually takes me about 10 minutes, maybe 15 if I'm being slow. But yeah, it's really nice. It's subtle, it's bright, you look pretty, you look polished, but really anyone can do this. And like I said, this is a fast makeup tutorial if you're in a rush, or it's great for beginners. This is all you need if you're younger, you're just getting into makeup, you don't want to do the full eyeliner, whole smoky eye, contouring, all that. This is great for you. Like I said, I recommend using a BB cream, but for me, I just always use my foundation. So the changes I would make if you're a beginner is a BB cream or even just a moisturizer. And yeah, this is really all you need. I think it's great. It's affordable. You can find all of this at your local drugstore or Ulta. And if y'all want a video on how I coupon or save money for drugstore and Ulta, I would love to give that to you, because I feel really passionately that you don't need a lot of money to feel beautiful and to buy all the makeup you need to look how you want to look. So anyway, I hope you like that. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. But yeah, this is the perfect beginner makeup look, or if you're in a rush, or if you're in college like me and you just don't have time to get ready every day. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoy it and have a happy Easter.